So this is a part 2 because my camera just did a weird thing. I think I was saying, been driving for 2 hours, was really tired, didn't have anything on my mind but to buy the thing and leave. And we walk out past where the self-checkouts are, and Jack goes to me, "Oh, did you just see Clara in there?" And I went, "Oh no, I didn't see her. Should I go back and, like, where is she?" I was trying to turn around to see where she was, but I couldn't see her. And I was thinking about turning around and going back in and apologising and saying I couldn't see her, but I was really tired, so I decided what I'd do instead is when I got home, which was about 5 minutes away, I would send her a message over Facebook and just apologise and say I didn't see her and that Jack had alerted me to the fact that I'd walked past her. By the time we got home, which again, 5 minutes, maybe 10 at the absolute max, because I think we stopped into Macca's for like a minute, I was blocked on Facebook. I typed out the message just saying virtually that I'm sorry I didn't see her, it wasn't intentional, how is she doing? You cannot message this person. I think only about a minute or two, I don't remember who initiated it, if Jack messaged the Facebook group that had everyone in it. No, I don't think he did, because we both said that we wanted this to be private, that we didn't understand. So I think Clara messaged this Facebook group that had about 6 or 7 people in it. Only one of them was related, and that was Jack. And the messages basically said, "How dare I walk past her? I had the bitchiest look on my face. Basically, how dare I?" And it kind of all blew up from there. For me and Jack, we were kind of going, one, if you didn't want to message me, why didn't you just message Jack? Why did it need to be brought into the group? 2, it is possible to walk past someone. It's not like she was dead in front of me. She was like off to the side. She didn't call out my name. She didn't try and get my attention. And I wasn't aware of my surroundings. So 2, I walked past her by accident. And 3, it was really unnecessary, blocking me and messaging the group. People who weren't involved in this, so everyone else other than Clara and Jack, were kind of getting a bit pissy, except one of them, the best friend of Clara and the good friend of Jack, the second guy that I talk about. I don't even know how to name him, so that you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, he also messaged Jack saying, "How dare I?" That it couldn't have been an accident, and virtually that I wasn't a good person. This was both what him and Clara were saying, that I wasn't a good person, how could I do this, and that she never ever wanted to speak to me, see me, anything like that again. And that upset me more than ending the friendship, because at least in my mind, ending the friendship was justified. This wasn't. So yeah, I haven't spoken to her since then. It's coming up to about 12 months since that happened. Hannah and I are on okay-ish terms. We're pleasant towards each other. When I see her, I do genuinely hope, when I say I hope she's doing well, I mean it. And when I ask her how she's going, I do want to know, and I hope she's doing well, and same with her family. But with Clara, after what happened, I'm still angry. Not angry, because I've kind of moved past it, but in the end, I guess I just still don't understand why it happened. I think it was definitely unjustified. And in that case, not in the ending the friendship, but in the things that happened after, I don't think I was in the wrong, in my mind. But I guess whenever you're looking things from your own perspective, you don't think you're in the wrong. But yeah, it's not easy, everything that's happened. I've never heard from anyone in the group. I messaged a couple of them to apologise for what had happened, that they had to kind of be in the group chat when it happened. I don't know if they didn't get my messages or if they chose to ignore them. I don't know. But I never heard from those people that I messaged. the guy that was running the parties has since... I won't ever blame him for Jack's and my breakup, but he had a hand in it. And because this is a part 2 of a video, I can quickly get into the last straw. Again, I'm not saying he's the complete reason. I'm not blaming him. I'm simply stating something that happened and had an assist in our breakup. In the end, what Jack did wasn't okay, but what Jack did was a result of... I don't know what to name him. Because I'm looking at something, I'm going to name him Swan because I've got a swan in front of me. So Swan, I hadn't heard from since the incident with Clara. It's coming up to Jack's birthday, and I messaged him on Facebook and said for something nice, because I think Jack was turning 20. I said for something nice, why don't we kind of organise a little get-together? And I was thinking, because at the time I didn't think the guys of the group had that big of a problem with me because I'd personally done nothing to them. I thought it would be fine, that if it was just the guys, which Jack was closest to, and myself, for dinner, it would be completely fine. Swan read my message and never got back to me. I then found out that Swan had messaged Jack and organised a boys-only party on the same night that I'd asked or offered to do the dinner thing. So that was kind of what started the chain reaction. The chain reaction following that was Jack accepted and didn't seem to have a problem with this clear... I don't even know how to word this. Like, it was very clear that Swan didn't want me around, and Jack didn't seem to have a problem with that. So that was Jack's reaction. That was the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, because this wasn't the first time that he'd kind of let things like this slide, where I was being, in my mind, and he's agreed with me on this, unfairly treated, because I'd done nothing to these guys. If it was Clara doing this, or even Hannah, I'd kind of have an understanding, but I'd never done anything to the boys. I was really close to Swan in school. We were really good mates, and now this was happening. So I don't even remember that well. I think Jack and I had a really big argument the night before or the night of the boys-only party, and I basically had insinuated that we were going to break up. It was basically an ultimatum of... Well, it wasn't even an ultimatum, because it had already been done. It was a how could you, we've talked about this, I can't do this anymore. But I hadn't officially said we wanted to break up, but to be fair, I'd said everything but we're breaking up. And we're really good friends now, that's why I feel comfortable talking about this. A couple days after the boys' party, I messaged Swan and basically said something along the lines of, why? Why did you ignore my message and my offer to do something for Jack's birthday? And why did you plan this specifically so I couldn't come? And his response was along the lines of, and I keep receipts. I've gotten the messages because I deleted the messages. I've got messages of other things. So no, this isn't going to be 100% accurate. It was along the lines of, I don't like you. You've taken Jack away from being my friend. You're not nice. You're blaming me for the breakup, aren't you? I'm never talking to you again. In those messages, I specifically said I don't blame him for us breaking up, for Jack and I breaking up, because I don't. He had a hand in it, but he's not to blame. There were a lot of underlying issues, both on my side and Jack's side, but that was the last kind of straw. So I'll never blame Swan. I'm upset at what happened. I still don't understand why it happened, but I do not blame him. And that was kind of the end of that. I haven't heard from him ever since. I've run into him. When Jack and I have gone out once, we ran into him, and this was after we broke up. And Swan just completely refused to look at me and acknowledge my presence. And I kind of found that a bit funny, but also a bit rude. But, you know, what are you going to do? I still don't understand why he's got this issue with me. I don't know if it's because of what happened with Clara. I don't know if it's because he saw me as taking Jack away from him, because a lot of times when Swan would call Jack up to say, hey, do you want to hang out later, Jack would be with me. And so, like, already be with me, we were already hanging out, or we had plans. Because I will admit this, one of my flaws is I was quite possessive. I would take up a lot of his weekends, and then that would be the only time that Swan could hang out. So Jack and I were already hanging out, and Swan would say, oh, does Jack want to go out? And when Jack would say that to me, I'd be like, but you're already with me. So that was my issue. I recognized that I was very possessive, and that could have been one of the reasons that Swan didn't want Jack and I together, because he could kind of see it as him being able to get his friend, not back, but being able to hang out with him more. So I'm still really confused over a lot of things that happened. I feel like a few of the things are unjustified. But, you know, in the end, what are you going to do? Although I'm still salty over what happened with Clara, whenever I hear little whispers of her having a tough time, I get really worried, and I think about reaching out to her and asking her if she's okay. I haven't done that though, because I'm blocked on everything. Blocked on Facebook. I don't think she has any other social medias to my knowledge, and I don't have her phone number anymore. So that's one of the main reasons I haven't contacted her. The second one being is that I don't feel that my contact would be welcomed. Although I'm still salty, if she ever contacted me and said that she needed me, and this goes for Hannah as well, I'd be there for her in a heartbeat. For both of them. Everything would kind of go away, and while they needed me, I'd be there for them. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but I believe that if they needed me, I'd be there for them. I don't know if that would ever be returned, but that's okay, because I recognise that everything else that I did warrants them not wanting to be there for me. So I wouldn't be angry with that. I recognise that I don't have a right to reach out and contact them if I needed to or if I wanted to. So yeah, I've gotten to a place with Hannah where I do have her number. I sent her a message a couple months ago because I was feeling really guilty. I don't think to that point I had ever said I'm sorry for what happened. I couldn't recollect specifically saying I'm sorry. So I wanted to do that and kind of get that off my conscience. So I just sent this message just basically saying I was sorry. I don't expect her to accept my apology, but if she ever wants to or will let me say it to her face, I'd be really grateful. She never replied to that message, but again, we're still pleasant. She's still pleasant towards me when she sees me. I guess for me, I know I've done what I can. If I was to die tomorrow, I know that I reached out and tried to at least apologise. Not ask for forgiveness, but apologise. And it's not... How do I say this without sounding like a bitch? It's not my issue or my fault if she chooses not to accept that. The best thing I could do is offer it. if she doesn't want to accept it, then that's fine. There's nothing I can do. I can't force her to accept it. I can't force her to hear me out. It is what it is. So, yeah. It's hard. With Clara, I knew her since kindergarten, so 5 years old. We were never friends in primary school. We walked to school a couple times because our families were really close, and I think our mums still kind of are. We walked to school in year 7, and then when we kind of found our own friend groups, we again stopped talking to each other. And then around year 9, year 10, our friend groups kind of came together. Clara and Hannah started getting along, and because Hannah and I were so close, we kind of became the three amigos. I think I explained that last time, but yeah. Sorry, I'm watching my dog Oscar dig at the bed because apparently that makes it more comfortable. Hang on. No, I can't reverse the camera. That's okay. It is what it is. I hope one day... I haven't offered Clara an apology yet. Once I feel that I'm ready to, because as I said, I still am salty over the aftermath. Once I feel like I'm ready to offer her that apology and I have the means to, I will. And I also know that I've offered Hannah the apology, and whether or not she accepts that, I can't do anything about that. So I've just kind of got to move on with my life and just see what happens. The one thing I will say is I really appreciate that Hannah, for all I know, Hannah could hate my guts. For all I know is that whenever she sees me, her blood boils because she really hates seeing me. But at least she's grown up enough to be pleasant towards me. I can't say the same for Clara. And that's what kind of makes the difference between how I feel about the situations. In the end, I was wrong. I was toxic. They deserved to end the friendship. I no longer have an issue with that. And I've done what I can to mend things with Hannah. I'm not yet ready to offer to mend things with Clara. So yeah, I think I've repeated myself about 5 times saying the same thing in different sentences. That's a really bad habit I've got. So I'll sign off now. This is the 27th of January, end of the diary.